All right, today we're diving into something really fascinating, the political engine that runs India. We're talking about its federalism. It's this incredible system built to handle more diversity than you can imagine. So let's get right into how it all works.
I mean, just think about that for a second. How on earth do you govern a place with literally hundreds of languages, unique cultures, and distinct regional identities? How do you keep a nation like that from just flying apart? It's a huge question. Now, the obvious answer is, well, you share the power, right? You create a system where the national government and the regional states each have their own say. But, and this is a big but, India's version has a very specific twist, a kind of built-in imbalance that changes absolutely everything.
Okay, so let's just make sure we're on the same page. Federalism, at its core, is just this, a system where power is split. It's like a deal between a central government, in India they call it the center, and all the individual states. Each side has its own jobs, its own responsibilities. Simple enough, right?
Well, this is where we get to the heart of what makes India so unique. Its system is almost always described with this one special term, Quasi-Federal. And that name tells you everything. It's kind of federal, but not quite. It's a puzzle, and it's key to understanding the whole country.
And here it is. This quote just nails it. It perfectly captures that idea. You have what looks like a federal system, but there's this constant, powerful gravitational pull towards the central government. We call that a unitary bias. It's a hybrid, designed to be flexible.
And you can see that contradiction right here on this slide. Look, on the left, you've got all the classic signs of federalism. A clear division of power, a written constitution as the rulebook, an independent court system. But then on the right, you've got these really powerful unitary features pulling in the other direction. A strong center, one constitution and one citizenship for everybody, and these incredibly powerful emergency provisions.
So how does this division of power actually work day to day? Where are the rules written down? Well, for that, you have to go straight to the Constitution, specifically to something called the 7th Schedule. It's the official rulebook, and it lays everything out in 3 big lists.
First up, you've got the Union List. This is the center's territory. These are the big-ticket items that affect the entire nation, so only the central government can make laws about them. We're talking about things like national defense, dealing with other countries, and managing the entire banking system.
Next, we have the state list. Now this is where things get more local. States get to be in charge of stuff that directly impacts their region, things like the local police force, maintaining public order, and agriculture. It gives them the power to handle their own unique issues.
And finally, there's this really interesting middle ground, the Concurrent list. This is the shared playground. Both the center and the states can make laws on these topics, things like education, managing forests, and marriage. It's supposed to be a space for cooperation, but, it can also be a space for some serious disagreements.
Which, of course, brings up the million-dollar question. What happens when their laws clash? What if a state passes a law about education and the center passes a conflicting one? Who wins? Well, the Constitution is crystal clear on this. The center's law wins, always. This is probably the clearest example of that unitary bias we were talking about.
And if that wasn't enough to tilt the scales, there's one more kicker. What about subjects that aren't on any of those 3 lists? Things the founders couldn't have even imagined, like cybersecurity or space travel. Well, these are called residuary powers, and in India, they automatically go to the center.
Okay, so let's dig a little deeper into this upper hand that the central government has. It's not just about winning arguments. There are actual constitutional tools that give it direct power over the states.
So you would think the state list is sacred ground, right? The one place states have total control. Well, not exactly. There are some major exceptions. The center's parliament can actually step in and make laws on state subjects if there's a national emergency, or if the upper house of parliament, which is supposed to represent the states, passes a special resolution.
This table really sums it all up beautifully. Legislatively, we just saw the center can jump into the state's territory. Administratively, it can issue orders that states have to follow, and it controls the top-tier civil servants, the IAS and IPS officers who run the government machinery in the states. And financially, the center collects the major taxes, and a finance commission it appoints decides how to divvy up the money.
Okay, so let's put all these pieces together now. Let's step back and look at the final complete picture of what Indian federalism is really all about.
When you look at the core design features, the pattern is undeniable. One constitution for everyone, one citizenship for everyone, a deliberately powerful central government, and one unified court system for the whole country. Every major feature points toward national unity first and regional autonomy second.
So this is a really important takeaway. It helps us avoid some common mistakes. Unlike a place like the United States, in India, those leftover powers go to the center, not the states. When there's a fight on that shared list, the center wins. This means India is just fundamentally different from what you might call a true federation.
So why? Why was it designed this way? Well, you have to remember the context. The people who wrote India's constitution decided that national unity and integrity was the absolute #1 priority. Given all that diversity, they felt they had to create a system where, when push comes to shove, the central government has the final word to hold everything together.
And all of this leaves us with one final big question to think about. Is this unique quasi-federal system a masterstroke, a brilliant design that keeps an incredibly diverse nation unified? Or does that built-in power imbalance create a constant state of tension, an endless power struggle between the center and the states? It's definitely